he's got a lot of really interesting military sources from the Global Healing Center over the years, helping veterans. He himself is an Army veteran. And he was telling me on the phone a few days ago about some of the stuff we want to talk about. And I said, yeah, Doc, we've got like all these executive orders. We've got the admission that they're preparing emergency camps for, quote, re-education. That is a Soviet term. That's in the Army manual for resettlement operations. That was in 2010, declassified 2013. I mean, this isn't us making this up. This is Army.mil. You cannot make this stuff up. And so he was talking to his Fort Bragg folks, and we're not going to even get into who, and they were saying, no, we are getting ready for EBT shutdowns. We're getting ready. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they've never really done this. If you want to look at that document, it's FM 3-39.40. And they are gearing up for basically societal collapse. Well, look at what's already happening in Europe. Look at the FEMA report we covered on Monday, 395% food price increases. By the way, it's in the middle of Rob Dew's report he did that we never aired that's so important, where it actually has the FEMA officials saying, we believe this scenario is going to happen. Because some people are saying, oh, well, the article out of Vice didn't say they thought it was going to happen. Yeah, I actually went to the report, okay, when I shot a video. That's what we show there. Okay, I don't want this stuff to happen. I'm not even saying it's going to happen. They say they believe this is a real problem they face. So we have the clips in the report Rob Dew did on this. So then he got into the fact that he wanted to talk about how the military also said, yeah, we're training to basically take on zombies. And then every time we say that, I told people like 2 years before it was mainstream news, they don't get the Army and the Marines to train to just mow down or say the security services there's the document, unclassified. We don't just sit there and just say this stuff, okay? We don't mean literal undead. But the way you dehumanize people that haven't eaten in 10 days, because they don't act like humans, is they call them zombies. There's Pentagon documents lays out battle plan against zombies. And they make a joke, because see, it was freaking the troops out when people are wearing John Deere hats and begging for food and dressed like Americans. So they said, okay, we're going to practice mowing people down now, you know, with the laser tag buzzers that have got green skin. That way it's not racial. That way it's all a big joke, but it's for mowing down crowds of people, okay? Business Insider, if you're a radio listener, I just put that on screen. Because I know I come on air and I say the Pentagon's training to take on zombies. I said that 2 years before it was in the news from our sources. And I said, what do you mean to the Army guys in this case? And they said, well, it's a PSYOP. Again, zombies aren't people, but we're training to mow down crowds of people. So we just say it's zombies, and then the media is going to say it's a joke later. So this is the anatomy of a PSYOP. Now, the military's not our enemy. They're being trained to do this. This is very, very dangerous. This is very, very serious. It shows that they're getting closer to some big event. Is it massive jihad attacks? Is it breakdowns? Is it depression? Is it war with the Russians? All this stuff's on the front burner now. War with the communist Chinese saying war is imminent. Japan getting on readiness alerts. The whole world is cascading towards crisis. And so all I'm saying is we should be aware of it. We should tell you why government's digging in, why elites are running to New Zealand, while billionaires are running to other areas like Australia. Because the word is all hell's going to break loose. Now, I'm not the one saying that. I'm the one that told you pretty much first when they were gearing up for it. All I'm saying is we've never seen such movement. Now, the Liberty Movement globally has been trying to block this. We hope that we're able and you're able to somehow stop it, and somehow this horrible plan that's bigger than what the Nazis planned can somehow be stopped, and Hitler won't invade, Austria and Czechoslovakia and Poland and France. But we're kind of the 1940 point now. So all I'm saying is the globalists are engaged in a new kind of war. They're training for martial law, and they've got to go operational, so they're mainlining it now where it's not even classified. Dr. Group spends some time on this, talking about it with all the rest of the backdrop we're facing. Go through your sources, but no document cams over there because that's handwritten notes from his sources, and then we'll go over some of these news articles that actually show people. Go ahead.
No, well, I got a phone call, and it was kind of disturbing. I mean, the thing is, this has all been right in front of our faces for a long time, and you've been talking about it, we've all been talking about it, but really what it comes down to is this zombie apocalypse. These are government unclassified documents. The
media's been hyping it, the culture's been pre-programming it.
It just seems like more and more it's coming out right now, and it's something that we need to be aware of. Basically, what I was told was that They're gearing up for exercises associated with food shortages, and we know that that's coming, and rogue military units. So apparently they're thinking that there might be some military units that might go rogue, that they might have to
The plan's always been to blame the military breaking away from a globalist takeover by saying rogue elements are staging terror attacks to thus demonize any military that breaks away from the globalist takeover.
Right.
So they preemptively stage terror attacks to blame the patriots. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you know, it's real easy to create what they term zombies is really us. With the fluoride in the water, they're dumbing us down.
It's a metaphor. It's a cover story.
Exactly. They're not going to come.
But it's beyond that. Just like the Kingsman movie, where they put out a program through the cell phones to make people act violently. That's actually declassified, but they're just testing it at lower levels. That's why the mental illness, all the stuff's exploding. Go ahead.
Right, and you see that the food shortages, what you were talking about earlier, that are happening. The easiest and fastest way to instill martial law.
By the way, it's called Con Plan 8888.
Con Plan 888. It's the government's plan to fend off the zombie apocalypse, to basically fend off our resistance or individual resistance.
Yeah, they're going to call collapse a zombie apocalypse. It's like what the head CFR guy just came out and said. The elite are in war with the average people, and then we're basically scum.
Right. And when you take away water and you take away food from people, you know what happens to them mentally. They become zombies. They start looking for food. They start looking for water. It's very
Within 10 days, 90% become cannibals. Within 15 days, it's like 98%.
Right, right.
So they are flesh-eating zombies.
So the point of the matter is, make sure that you have food and make sure that you have the necessary supplies to protect yourself and protect your family. That's why I'm such a big promoter of the X2 iodine, the winter sun.
Sure, and we're going to do an open pitch here. We're the InfoWar. We fund ourselves with things we believe in: non-GMO seeds, shortwave radios, the best solar panel units to be prepared. I personally am gearing up the very best storable foods, 20 to 40% off through the Independence Day holiday. We didn't actually have this planned last week when you were going to come in and cover all this, but just all the news kept breaking along the lines. So I decided to do the special. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com. And by the way, you were going to come in and talk about all these leaking reactors they admit that they don't even care now. That's why it's more important than ever to take iodine, so your glands are full of the good halogen, so the bad radioactive halogens can't get in. So that's why it's 20% off through July 4th as well.
Right, and just the other day, they had an earthquake off the coast of Fukushima, and they're just now starting to report even more damage from over there. So not only are we dealing with radioactivity everywhere, but we're dealing with the potential of financial collapse, zombie apocalypse.
Society's already breaking down.
They're already seeing UN vehicles now moving across the United States. I've seen people are saying
these aren't old ones. These are the big Hunger Games, you know, big APCs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have people sending you the pictures too. So there is something going on. I mean, somebody sent me a picture.
There's now Abrams painted up with UN.
Right, and somebody sent me a picture of a pipe company that had hundreds of vehicles lined up in the back of this pipe company in the middle of nowhere, military vehicles. So, I mean, there's definitely with FEMA preparing.
I mean, they admit they are pre-deploying armored, heavy armor to deal with the people. And the question is, the Patriots aren't going to run out and fight anybody. We'll just try to take care of our families. They're going to do something so horrible that they're going to somehow hype people into the belief that we've got to be persecuted.
Yeah, I mean, they could easily just flip a switch and cut off the water supply to every single home. They could flip a switch and cut off the electricity to every home.
And then say we did it.
They can, regulate the food supply. Executive Order 13603 that Obama signed, actually.
Yeah, let's go over the actual documentation here. Go ahead.
So yeah, that executive order, which was signed, actually states that the government right now can take over all food resources.
Yeah, document cam that for TV viewers.
Yeah, this is the executive.
Just right over there. Just cover your notes something and show those.
All right.
Just don't want to give any of the names out. Go ahead.
So basically, yeah, the Executive Order 13603, and that basically says that the Obama put that into production.
He can suspend the Constitution, Congress for any reason, including economic.
Take over all food resources, all
form work brigades, forced labor,
all of that stuff. Yes. So not only that, then you also have the what we were talking about earlier was the con plan 888. That actually, if you look at that, is pretty scary. I mean, it's like 300 pages, but it's zombie threats.
This is from Army.mil, by the way. You know they're going to have like 100 newspapers say we just made this up tomorrow.
No,
they're going to say that we said zombies are attacking Texas next week. We never said that. We said it's a metaphor for war with the people.
This plan was not actually designed as a joke. That's the first sentence that's on the plan. Members of the USS Trainng component found out by accident that the hyperbolic involved in writing a zombie survival plan actually provided a very useful and effective plan. And there's
it's by accident,
summaries, enemy forces. I mean, there's been a lot of thought that's gone into this, and they, you know, define zombies.
How do you sell and get the troops ready to fight the American people? You just, oh, we're going to train to fight zombies.
Yeah, exactly, because they're going to have hordes of people in populated.
And by the way, the general public, I mean, you get 1 million starving Trigglypuffs in a town like Austin, Texas, it will be dangerous.
It's going to be dangerous in any highly populated. I mean, most people just think they're sitting around. They're already zombies, basically. They're just sitting around. They're not going to know if the power goes off.
You know, fat people could be a food supply, though.
There's actually modifications and scenarios on people eating other people in there, vegetarian zombies, chicken zombies, all kinds of other stuff in there as well. And
but let's go further. You admit, and they've declassified thousands of DARPA patents where they're actually looking at wavelengths, chemicals, and things with Dr. Begich on that actually turn us into piranha-like zombies.
Right, nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors and cell phones. One of the things that we're noticing now actually is people that are looking at computers and cell phones all the time, those screens do not block the blue light. So what happens is if you're constantly looking at that, it's going to cause myopia. Kids are starting to come down with myopia and other
brain damage. They're in like a zombie-like, a near dreamlike state. That's mainstream news. Why would they put it out in the Kingsman where there's a group of billionaires that want to depopulate the earth? So they're beta testing through the cell phones, sending out a wavelength pattern that makes you go into lower brain, psychotic, crocodile brain response. And then you actually have 15 years ago, you know, the Baltimore Sun admitting DARPA was testing that in Baltimore. I mean, they're actually through this. This is that they admit, and then they admit through the new light bulbs, they can send data flicker to control you.
Well, they know.
I mean, you
now.
cannot make this up.
No.
You cannot make this up. I'm not saying this, folks. This is official.
Everything is official. It just goes down to doing your research and pulling up the documents.
Remember Pokemon 20 years ago in the U.S. and Japan, one episode aired. They admitted it was a test. The monster's eyes flash at a certain rate and thousands of convulsions, including some deaths, when folks fell and hit their heads. Now, that's just with old-fashioned technology. They can make you have convulsions.
Right now, they're hiding the cell phone towers and everything. You don't even know where they are. There are so many cell phone towers with the HARP technology. We've really moved.
Homeland Security admits they're setting up all these, quote, secondary ones to spy on us. It's way beyond that.
Right. Yeah. And so all that can be used. You talk about zombies. You can easily manipulate the brain to where someone just walks around like they don't even know what they're doing.
They've already turned the public into that with their smartphones because it's more than that. They are sending out wavelengths of light that they admit are mesmerizing people. They're hypnotizing you, folks.
It is. It's like a hypnotic zombie state that they can control you.
And if they get you into it early enough, then that's how they make you more suggestible. That's why some people have no attention span. You can't talk to them. Even if they were people you knew a few years ago that were smart are suddenly like gone because they've been put in a trance. We're under a spell. We're under a spell.
Yeah, it's like we're in the Matrix. We're just under this control. But the good news is there's a solution to that. And
the good news is if you're consciously aware of it, it doesn't work.
Exactly. You know, meditation, eating healthy, avoiding all the chemicals and toxins that we talk about on a regular basis in the water supply, the food supply, all of that, taking the supplements that we develop specifically for a counter attack from all of these different angles that are coming in.
All I know is Super Male Vitality, X2, and Brain Force. So it's all changed my life. It's changed my life. I mean, I do have a bulldog cartoon head. I've got about the biggest head you can have, and I've got huge shoulders, and it makes it look like people see me in person. They go, I do have like big shoulders and stuff, and they go, wow, your shoulders don't look that big because your head's so big. But other than that, we got some new photos I took just last week. I've lost so much weight on this. In fact, I'm just going to show these on my phone. I keep wanting to show them, but I haven't shown you. I'm going to just keep going, Dr. Grip. You're really breaking some key stuff down. I mean, all I know is your supplements changed my life. Others did a little bit of good, but not as much.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, we're both here to try to just educate as many people as we can and help as many people as we can. And the solution is it doesn't need to be that hard. You just need to be aware, be awake, and understand that you have the power to change, and the small little battles you
Bottom
face,
line,
you can win.
filter your water. Bottom line, don't eat GMO. Bottom line, if you're deficient in key elements, you need to get them in your body, and it's just a separate issue. You need to be prepared and self-sufficient. So we're 20 to 40% off on a whole bunch of stuff at InfoWarsStore.com right now, including the storable foods. All right, if you're a radio listener, you go to InfoWars.com/show. You can see this, but I didn't even mean to do this today. This wasn't even planned. We do have the big special, 20 to 40% off InfoWars storable foods. They're super high quality. We had to stop doing the special a few months ago because the factory couldn't keep up with output. It helps fund our operation, all the things we're doing. But if you're a TV viewer, I'll show you some of these photos from fishing trip with my kids last week. And Buckley and Anthony all went with us too. But for TV viewers, go ahead and do a document cam shot if you guys can. In there in the control room for me. Now, again, I mean, I've really lost weight compared to a few years ago, but I've gained a ton of muscle, absolutely a ton. And I'm not even sucking my gut in. One of these I am. I'll show you the one where I am. I'm sucking my gut in a little bit there. So that's more. And that's the gut sucked in a little bit. That's the gut not sucked in. And that is, my head is really that big, folks. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's really clownish. And so that's, and I love these trolls online go, look how fat his chest is. Yeah, that's pure muscle, by the way, folks. But the point is that I never really lost the muscle. I just got fat all over me. Because I used to run 6 miles every other day and work out a lot. But here's some more photos for TV viewers. We're going to put these out soon compared to what I looked like when I weighed 280 pounds. Now, this is like 235 pounds. Some people say, well, how'd you lose 70 or 80 pounds? I mean, I lost a bunch of fat and gained muscle. I mean, I'm the strongest I've ever been. So that's what Super Male Vitality and X2 has done. But remember when you said, when you developed X2, we had about 6 months before it came out, and I was taking it, you said, get ready for to tan better, get ready for your skin to get better, get ready for you to have more libido, energy, because it's the good halogen and it helps you produce your regular hormones. And you said, but about 3 weeks in, you might have a toxic event. I did feel bad for about a week. Felt, not too bad, but kind of like I had a hangover. And all of a sudden, all this stuff started coming out of my skin. It's kind of gross for a few weeks and other things. And when I would sweat, stuff would pour out. And it's just gotten better and better and better. Just the X2 alone's changed my life. Dr. Rip, why is that?
There's so many studies that have been done on iodine over the years. And just recently now...
15 IQ point increases?
Just recently, we talk about the phthalates and we talk about the endocrine disrupting chemicals, but now there's research out that states that iodine helps regulate the estrogen uptake cells, which means that it's
an estrogen blocker.
It blocks estrogen. So probably what was happening with you is you were blocking some of that estrogen. Your endocrine system was coming back into line. That's one of the main problems that we have right now is endocrine disruption everywhere. And the endocrine system is the main system in your body that controls your fat, controls your metabolism, controls your bowels, besides the fact that we have everybody that's stressed out running around in a sympathetic state all the time. And
by the way, I'm not in competition with other iodine folks. I knew iodine was great. You were recommending it, but with all these sources that weren't really true iodine would upset my stomach. What you developed is that's why it turns blue on paper, not red. That's what color iodine really is. It is absolutely in the crystalline form, the strongest. You absorb it. So, folks, don't go out to the store and get iodine from, say, one of the big chains. It'll kill you. People are like, iodine, that's dangerous. No, this is real, approved, safe iodine, but still consult your physician. This is the good halogen. But I'm telling you, Then I started Super Male on top of it. And then the extra everything, it just all works in synergy. And now that I neurotically take it every day, it just gets better and better.
What are you doing? What's your exercise program? Because I'm sure everybody wants to know how.
I'm actually working out less than I was a year and a half ago. It's kind of spoiled me. I mean, I was working out like an hour and a half some days. I mean, I used to swim across the lake and back when we lived out there. And I was fat, but I could, I could swim 2 miles.
So what you're saying is you're not having to devote like 4 or 5 hours a day.
No. I mean, all I would do is just go swim 2 miles or even try to go jog or whatever, or lift weights, but I would just get bigger. My muscles would just get bigger and I wouldn't lose the fat. Now, look, man, I've got more libido than when I was 18, okay? I'm telling you, I mean, it's amazing. InfoWarsLive.com, huge specials running through. We're going to get back to the serious news when we come back, but this is the news. Support our local affiliates, folks. We'll be back. All right, on this Friday edition, Dr. Group rides shotgun with us for another 30 minutes, but throughout this hour, we're going to have open phones on Loretta Lynch and her corruption and her arrogance, on the Clintons, on Donald Trump, the economy, and on the Associated Press, the LA Times, MSNBC. Military trains to take on zombies. I know I'll be attacked even covering this, but we're covering what they're covering. They'll misrepresent it and say, I said zombies are real. No. But this is, again, a cover to train our military to take on the American people, and they're getting ready for collapse. What do you think is behind all this? That's another topic I would throw out. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231 on those topics. You can talk about anything else you want, but I'm asking you to give us your view on those issues coming up. Dr. Group, you were very excited during the break when I was talking about all my weight loss and stuff. So let's finish up with that and come back with this Army Regulation 210-35 and all the news you got, and then calls. But you were talking about healthy weight loss happens over time.
Yeah, so, you know, there's so many people out there that are on multiple diet plans and exercise plans, and they're working so hard, but they're just not losing the weight. And the reason why they're not losing the weight is because they're not repairing the endocrine system. You can exercise as much as you want. You can go to the gym. You can work out all day long. But unless you start cleansing the body and reactivating your body's self-healing mechanism and bringing in the things and the nutrients that your body needs to be able to burn that fat and to be able to release that. See, most of the toxins and chemicals are actually stored in your fat cells. So how it was so easy for you and so easy for thousands of people out there, because we're on the phone, and all you have to do is go to the InfoWars Life products and look at all the reviews, and you'll see how easy it is when the body comes back into balance. It's one of the reasons why you really don't see a lot of obese kids around 6 to 8. I mean, you have some, and usually those are associated with mothers that had severe endocrine disrupting chemicals during pregnancy, mothers that were exposing themselves to high estrogen contents during pregnancy.
Well, I mean, I remember you writing 10 years ago, but also Dr. Blaylock and others, that diet drinks with aspartame make you fat. Well, that's all been confirmed in major studies. They admit that now.
Yeah.
So why are they pushing something that makes you fat? Because it makes you want to eat more and messes up your endocrine system.
Well, one of the reasons why is because if you're fat, you're going to have all kinds of other health conditions. And if you, including mental conditions, you're going to have depression, you're going to have ADD, ADHD, or anxiety, or bipolar, or something else. So the deal is, if they can, from birth, the whole goal is to get you controlled by the psychiatric industry or the medical industry from birth on. And that's why even pregnant mothers are being given psychiatric medications right now, because they want you in the system. They know if they can get you on some sort of medication from an early age, that medication is going to cause 3 or 4 side effects. Then you're going to be on another medication, which is going to cause 3 or 4 side effects, and you're going to be in control of the medical system. And why this stuff works so good, and why cleansing has always been talked about from ancient Egypt, ancient India, all the way up through now, and what we're talking about is because it works. All you're doing is cleansing all that toxic stuff that's suppressing your body's own mechanism to burn fat. Once you do a liver cleanse, I've always said in my book, the 10 Secrets to Weight Loss that I wrote a long time ago, is that the #1 thing you can do for weight loss is clean the liver. That's what processes all your fat, and that's what keeps your
Sure, I mean, we get puffy because we're toxic and the liver's not pushing it out, so the body holds water trying to, you know, do something.
And the X2, believe it or not, the Deep Cleanse, the Liver Shield, all of those supplements that we have are all designed to reactivate the body's self-healing mechanism.
Then you take Living Defense, that gets out the parasites.
Exactly.
It's just all of it works together in synergy. And when you try one for a while, some of it you only do for, you know, periods of time, like the Oxy powder or like the Living Defense, other things you take on a regular basis. But as always, consult with your health care practitioner, do your research, because these are really good, high-quality products, but still, if you're already really screwed up and stuff, who knows what changing that whole system could do abruptly. So do your own research before you do that, because these aren't placebos. These aren't games. We've done the research. These are game changers. Let's get back into the preparations for martial law straight ahead. We're already into an element of martial law now. I have a blind spot that a lot of establishment types have told me about, kind of admin propagandists for the enemy. They say, Alex, you don't get it. You see us being more evil, more corrupt, more dominant and it makes you want to fight harder. But the general public has low self-esteem and is weak. It just makes them give up and stop paying attention. We're trying to instill learned helplessness. We're trying to break their will. You think, you're evolving to resist tyranny. The public evolves and adapts to submit. And so people are evolving to be slaves. And so this is really their inside baseball. I don't really believe that. I think they've miscalculated. Look at the Brexit. Look at so many other good things that are happening. You don't have to get even the majority to stand up and say no. But I got to tell you, you look at Sweden, where they've ordered the police on record to not to cover up Islamic rapes of women because that's in the culture. An unattended woman can be raped. And in fact, then she's executed or stoned or killed, bare minimum beaten until an issue for life with a big cane pole or a big whip. And so there's an article up on Infowars.com. We're not joking. Swedish women use bracelets to stop Muslim rapists. Sweden has come up with a brilliant idea to stop the surge of Muslim rapists. Wristbands that say, "Don't touch me." Ladies and gentlemen, we're not kidding. And this is on their news with a straight face. Same thing in Germany. The Green Party says, look, German women, just don't wear short skirts. That's the left. These are very sick, sick, sick people. And and they're covering up rapes and abuse here in the U.S. already. We've been covering that. It's just unbelievable this is going on. But Joe Biggs did a piece that's not even comedy, where we just show women around the office wearing the wristband, just like the ones they have there that says, "Don't rape me." And then he comes up in a jihadi outfit, and he just sees that, and he stops immediately. That actually might work, though, because they'll laugh so hard. Maybe that, or maybe it gives the women the confidence to say no. How about a gun? Only the jihadis seem to have the guns. But look, she's not wearing her. It's not funny. I shouldn't laugh. All right, I want to go to phone calls, too. But 800-259-9231. Dr. Group, you kind of got interrupted earlier. Go over these Army documents. Give folks the names of them. Just the different ways they're preparing for total collapse and what your sources were telling you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just about being prepared, really. It's just about being aware and making sure that you have a source of clean, fresh water. I mean, talk to somebody that you know outside of the city. Wouldn't
a good source of millions of jihadis be a good value for us? We don't need water or freedom or our own land or self. Just have some jihadis would help us, right?
If you just want to die, yeah.
Is that an asset?
I guess you could maybe like kill them and eat them or something.
But I mean, they've imported 5 million of them into Europe in the last 3 years. That's a good idea, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, really good idea.
Like, while you're talking, let's just show some footage of people crawling over and robbing and raping, shooting guns in the air. But go ahead, sorry.
No, it's, it's amazing how one thing can lead to another thing, which can lead to another thing, which can lead to another thing, and how everything is interconnected, from the genetically modified mosquitoes as a vector for vaccinations or whatever they want to put in your body. But one of the other things I came upon, which you've covered in the past, is Army Regulation 210-35.
Oh, but it's important to recap this. We're not just saying this.
No, these are actual government unclassified documents.
Show folks, unclassified.
Unclassified. Well, whenever we go.
Oh no, there's just a resource they're importing into Europe. I'm sorry, just who needs running water? Self-sufficiency. We have this as our resource. Sorry.
Right.
But here, we'll just go back to these documents. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so basically this document right here is the Civilian Inmate Labor Program right there. And
unclassified.
This is unclassified. So this is real. This is really what's going on, believe it or not. And I was in the military myself, but this regulation provides guidance for establishing and managing civilian inmate labor programs on Army installations. It provides guidance on establishing prison camps on Army installations, addresses record keeping and reporting incidents related to the Civilian Inmate Labor Program and or prison camp administration, which ties into FEMA, which ties into all the coffins that people are seeing, which ties into martial law, which ties into the depopulation agenda. And as a matter of fact—
And who started that? Bill Clinton. And it wasn't declassified until recently because they're upping, they're escalating it. There are people already convicted prisoners at military bases, but they're just priming the pump now and expanding it for the general public.
I mean, they're just putting everything out there now. I mean, the Freedom of Information Act, I mean, you can get This is just online, by the way, but even things that are becoming declassified with the Freedom of Information Act, some of it is still blacked out. But the thing is, I don't even think they care anymore. It's just like right in the open. Here's some quotes that I pulled regarding the depopulation. This one is from Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh.
Prince Philip, I'm very loving.
If I were reincarnated, I would wish to be returned to Earth as a killer virus to lower human population levels. Prince Philip. Depopulation should be the highest priority of U.S. foreign policy towards the third world. Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, that's the cover sheet to Memorandum 200.
Society has no business to permit degenerates to reproduce their kind. Theodore Roosevelt. A total world population of 250 to 300 million people, a 95% decline from present levels would be ideal. Ted Turner.
And by the way, these are all out of Autobahn magazine, Reuters. These are real quotes.
Right. So, I mean, the deal is, I'm positive too, Alex. I mean, I always like to think, hey, look at the positive things that are happening in the world. Look at people switching to more organic foods, people taking more supplements, people not going to the doctor's office as much, people taking a proactive stance. I mean, that was a big blow, in my opinion, to the New World Order, is the Brexit, you know, coming out.
Huge.
People are standing up. Look, now you have, you know, individual states of the United States talking about secession. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's, as we always talk, it's always this multifaceted process that I think that there's just as much good as there's just as much bad. It's like the yin and the yang. The good, you're always going to have the negative and the positive. So education is first. You know, you have to understand and you have to know how to heal your body. You have to know what supplements to take. You have to know what the government.
Absolutely. Let's run through some more of these articles for folks. You got a big stack of them there.
Right. So here's an article right here. Leaked U.S. Army document outlines plan for re-education camps. When you get deep in,
and again, they actually call it re-education camp.
Re-education.
That's not our word.
No. So what happens? The power grids go off. We have a lack of water. We have a lack of food. You have the zombies walking around in the streets. You have rioting. They have to create martial law. You know, there's got to be detainment facilities. They want detainment facilities. So and it actually talks about having civilians turned into labor, like what you said, literal slaves. So that's why I say you get as far away as you possibly can when you start noticing these things.
And by the way, the Pentagon describes people after a few days not having their EBT cards as zombie-like, disoriented, delusional, delirious. Guys, can you pull up the woman from like a month ago when the EBT cards weren't working? Throw in the fit, the video's woman throws tantrum when EBT card doesn't work. She looks like a 350-pound 2-year-old toddler throwing a fit. You've all seen toddlers throw fits in the grocery store, and their trendy mothers let them do it. You know, you're supposed to just take your kid out of the store, but whatever, they're raising little monsters. But imagine, as all this breaks down, let's show the video of this woman for TV viewers. I mean, she looks like a zombie. If I was a Hollywood producer, I could actually hire her to show her as a zombie in a movie. I mean, she looks, that's why the Pentagon calls them zombies. I don't care if they're white, black, who they are. Once things break down, this is what the General Trigglypuff will act like.
That's what happens when you take away their food supply.
And see, Trigglypuff is angry there. Can you imagine 10 days in what that woman will be like?
Can you imagine?
Well, she's 2 weeks. She'll be on a spit. She'll be getting roasted.
You know, I forgot what the percentage.
What part would you eat first? If you had to roast her.
I wouldn't eat anything. I would starve.
I don't know. Put her back up there. The back strap? Hind quarter?
I don't know. I would stay vegetarian. I'd go eat some grass or something. I'd stay vegetarian.
I'm being sarcastic. That's for the media. You know it'll be headline Jones in racist rant talks about what part of black woman would he eat as a cannibal. We're talking about the Pentagon saying we're zombies killing everybody. Okay, let's put some you know, white Walmart Martian up, and I'll ask which part will eat her. Here, guys, let's look at some Walmart photos, and we'll discuss the delicatessen there, because this is how the government's talking about us, Dr. Group. We've got to be serious about it.
How many million people right now are on food stamps and EBT cards?
Be honest, though, you had no food, no nothing, and you knew help was coming. You were in a frozen plane crash, and it was dead people. Would you eat them?
I would eat it. Yeah, I would eat it.
Sure, so let's be honest.
Yeah.
So you're on a plane. She's the only other passenger. Your kids are there starving to death. Let's put her back on screen. I want to ask which part looks the most delectable.
Well, probably, you know, looking at it from a nutritional standpoint.
Put her back on screen. This is just science, folks. Go ahead.
I would probably, you know, to get my essential fatty acids.
The brain.
Eat the brain. Yeah. Start with
but that has a bioaccumulation
that's
problem.
probably going to be the first thing that degrades. I would just, you know.
But for flavor.
I don't think that would be too flavorful, but, you know, definitely not the liver for flavor. I don't know what's going on with her limp right over there, but that's a good question, Alex. What part would you eat?
The hindquarter. That's pretty damn juicy. I'm sorry. The Pentagon is openly saying we're all zombies. There's a total collapse being engineered. I'm just illustrating how absurd this has gotten. You know?
Well, you
eat or be eaten, because I guarantee you, folks, it'll be I've got storable food and weapons. It's going to be folks like that woman, that white lady right there. So that arm looks pretty good. That right arm looks pretty juicy.
You're basically eating all the fat, Alex. But that would probably give you some energy.
Isn't fat one of the best, you know, high energy things there is?
It is. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Well, I'd roast her fat and use that for cooking. Vegetables in.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I want to be a connoisseur. Look, if I'm going to have to eat people, I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to eat the brain, because that bioaccumulates toxins, but you're right, it has a lot of the best. No, you're right, you're right. We'll be back. Stay with us. I was discussing with gallows humor, with Dr. Group riding shotgun with me earlier. You know, the Pentagon says if society collapses, there's going to be cannibalism and all this. I was saying, which wall Martian would you be forced to eat? That's a very, very sad topic. Let's get serious, and I'm going to your phone calls. Infowars.com right now. This is so sensational. My interpretation is correct. When Lynch did that talk this morning at the Aspen Institute and said that, oh, I'll take what they say and I'll go with that, but then we'll make sure it's correct at the Justice Department and you know, what we're going to do with it. Well, now a DOJ source has come out. Even Bloomberg's reporting this. Lynch reserves right to overrule FBI on Clinton probe. She needs to be forced on this, despite reassurances Lynch to ultimately decide Hillary's fate. And she had the meeting they tried to keep secret with Clinton showing the bad intent. This is unbelievable. That's up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, sounds like a country music singer's name, is reserving the right to overrule the FBI's decision on whether to prosecute Hillary Clinton, according to senior Justice Department official. From a senior DOJ official, Attorney General Lynch reserves the right to overrule the recommendations of career prosecutors and the FBI and the Hillary Clinton email probe. Bloomberg's Mark Halperin tweeted. See? Told you. Even when they say it, people can't. I mean, Dan Bongino's a smart guy, but you're like, really? I guess they don't. Wow. See, because the media ran with it, she said she would. This official says the probability she would overrule is very, very low, but it is not zero. So the news is she will not recuse despite the firestorm. Yeah, they're just getting you ready for her to do it. Oh, she probably won't, but, well, we have some serious misconduct of some of these agents. One of them, you know, is a pedophile. One of them is such and such. That's the word, and of course, that's who they put in charge to do it so they could burn them. So it's a serious issue. Dr. Grip, brief comment on that. Once you ride shotgun the rest of the hour with us, we're going to go to phone calls.
Yeah, I don't really have a brief comment on that. I mean, it's just you know how the government works.
But it's getting worse.
Each other. It's been getting worse and getting worse. The good thing is it's actually out in the open now so people can see it. I mean, it doesn't take, you know, all you have to do is just put two and two together. You know, you have her meeting on the tarmac with Bill Clinton. I mean, come on.
Trying to keep it secret.
She's the, you know, there now coming out where she's going to give the final word whether or not Hillary's going to be prosecuted. You know, same old stuff, different day.
By the way, I didn't intend to get back into the supplements and back into preparedness and things, even though we're running a 20 to 40% special that ends after the 4th of July on storable foods, X2s, 20% off, you name it. But a lot of these callers are for you, Dr. Group. I said the topic is collapse and Lynch. They want to talk to Group, so that's fine. Steve in Alabama wants to talk X2. Nick wants to talk Mexico wall, China, Trump. Liberty Monk wants to talk Clinton, Trump, and race relations. Frank wants to talk X2 and prostate. Kevin wants to talk Dr. Group products at InfoWarsLife.com. So we'll do all that coming up after the break. But right now, as I just said, let's start taking your phone calls. Oh, I was just going to Liberty Monk. Did Liberty Monk hang up? Because I was about to go to him. Okay, right as I was going to him, he dropped off. Okay, so let's go to Nick in Pennsylvania. You're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Hi, hi. Hey,
Welcome.
Alex. How
Thank
you
you.
doing? Hey, I love what you're doing. First time caller. Keep up the good work. I wanted to get your take on something Trump brought out today. He said he's going to use the Patriot Act to help Mexico pay for the wall. Are you at all concerned about him using a globalist tactic against them?
Well, I mean, the Patriot Act, they claim it's for terrorists or foreign interest engaged in activities against the U.S. The problem is it's been written to be used against the American people, and it already is thousands of times, I mean, a month. I mean, that's conservative. It's used ubiquitously now across the board. So I didn't get the specifics of what he was saying, but I don't care if he uses anti-terrorism legislation as long as there's transparency against multinationals. That's what it's supposed to be for. You're not supposed to apply stuff to citizens that violate our rights. But that's one problem I have is he wants to sound tough. I don't like the waterboarding talk and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Basically, the specifics was he was going to use a thing where the Western Union had to know the customer, know the...
Oh, well, that makes... Oh, exactly. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah. Patriot Act is expanded to know your customer, to harass everything I do. Sometimes around Christmas, I'll go get like $3,000, $4,000 out of the bank to give it to little cousins and kids and stuff, you know, $100 or whatever. And they'll just be like, oh, my... They're like, what is this for? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, just fill out your suspicious thing, okay? I know I'm evil. I got cash. But absolutely, all this money being sent to Mexico, if it's being done to the American people, it should be done to everybody. It's like, let the illegals in, don't test them for disease, but then I got to go through a TSA checkpoint. I'm not even against all these people that are coming in overall. It's just that it's that there's no controls on them, but controls on me.
Exactly. Exactly. We're the Americans. I mean, we're the citizens. It's our country. I mean, you know, I don't have a there just needs to be some control. It's just out of control.
Hey, Nick, I'm going to come right back to you and let you get a comment back, and we'll go to more calls. Stay with us. All right, I want to take a bunch of your calls and cover a ton of news, but the big news, DOJ source, Lynch reserves right to overrule FBI on Clinton probe, despite reassurances. Lynch to ultimately decide Hillary fate. FBI at Clinton Lynch meeting ordered press to shut down, no photos, no video. Meanwhile, this is a 2-minute video, and then I'm going to go right to your calls. Nick, Steve, Cindy, Frank, Kevin, and everybody here with Dr. Group, and he's got other news to hit. But suspected Istanbul attack mastermind was a refugee protected by the EU. And Swedish women use bracelets to stop Muslim rapists. Now, again, I'll describe this for radio listeners, but Joe Biggs reports on it, Leanne reports on it briefly. And then we just show how ridiculous it is with Joe dressed up like a jihadi or an Orthodox Muslim. I guess he thinks any unattended woman's his. Coming up, about to jump on a woman like they do in Cologne and everywhere else, in Sweden, you name it. And then he just goes away because he sees the bracelet. Here is Leanne McAdoo and Joe Biggs' report. I'll narrate part of it.
Looks like the Swedes have figured out how to stop migrant sexual attacks. That's right. Breitbart is reporting about a recent Swedish press release that's warning about groping. It's a crime. You can't hold women and touch their breasts or grab them between their legs at a concert just because their bodies are crushing against you in a crowd. So a press release announced that police intend to equip young women with wristbands with the slogan, "Don't touch me." So these are very powerful wristbands. They must be sort of like Wonder Woman's wristbands, of course, as she is repelling danger. And they say that these are going to be the things that are going to equip women. By wearing these wristbands, young women will be able to make a stand. Now, it's unclear how effective these wristbands are going to be because they're written in Swedish, and most of the migrants who are doing the raping do not read these Swedish words. And now a recent police report released last month noted that the country had the worst rates of sexual violence against women in Europe. Indeed, in 2013, it was reported that 1 in 4 Swedish women will be raped, as sexual assaults there increased by 500% as they're importing all of these migrants who are, you know, not used to the ways of dealing with women who are, you know, asking for it. So these bracelets are nothing more than hashtag activism come to life.
Joe starts sneaking up as a jihadi, but she shows him the wristband.
Yeah, these are really going to be safe and effective.
Do not
it's
rape,
just that
and it works. Exactly, that's the other funny part. It's in Swedish, but it'd be like putting a wristband on a mosquito saying, "Don't suck my blood." But look, she's not wearing hers. Yeah.
Come to me.
Then Biggs coming. He looks a little...
It's not a joking matter. The fact that the Swedish police think that this is actually a reasonable way to stop rape from happening by giving someone a bracelet is completely and totally ridiculous.
Like Muhammad.
There's nothing funny about rape,
looks like he
but
puts
what
like-
is a
he, like,
serious
tanned his
matter?
skin or
You know, Muhammad
is
was
the
a white
Second
guy. He
Amendment.
actually looks like
When
the
you take
paintings I've seen of
people's ability
Muhammad.
away to protect themselves, then we have to resort to stupid ideas like this.
Maybe he's the reincarnation of Muhammad back to behave himself.
He's like the good Muhammad reincarnated, coming back to spend time in the military.
That's
US
right.
Military.
Yeah.
And now works for...
Hey, I'm Bill Hicks.
He's spreading the word.
I'm Bill Hicks. Joe Biggs is Muhammad. Try that conspiracy on for size. Want to look at some more wall Martian photos? It's kind of like you go to a steakhouse. They got images of the cow there and like what cut you're getting and then the big glass thing, all the meat cutlets.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about zombie collapse and stuff, you know, and the Pentagon says we're going to be eating each other. We should start learning the cuts.
Yeah, if I was Joe, I would just get rid
What's
of
the
that
equivalent
outfit.
on a human of like a filet mignon?
Probably the backstrap.
Yeah, so that's...
Right down the spine, yeah.
So right down the spine, that's where you'd find what a smaller, Chateaubriand?
Probably.
And then what's the ribeye?
Probably around your ribs or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you all the muscles and all the bones, but...
Well, in Venezuela, they're basically eating each other now under loving liberalism. So we got to get ready. And seriously, folks, 40% off on some of the storable food, 20% on the lowest stuff. Really good deal running through next week. We all need to be self-sufficient. I'm making jokes about this because it's so serious. The globalists are digging in. There's a lot of signs. Now's the time to celebrate your Independence Day, not just with hot dogs and beer or family, which is great, but remembering when it made America great, recommitting to fight the globalists, taking action in the info war, supporting the broadcast, but more importantly, getting yourselves self-sufficient, InfoWarsStore.com, water filtration, Survival Shield X2, and so many other great products. Nick, finish up your point. I mean, you heard our response. By the way, that's remittance is what Trump's talking about when he says, hey, you know, under the Patriot Act, we can take money that we say is associated with crime. And so I guess he can say if Mexico doesn't pay for the wall and some of its crime and its anchor babies up here, he'd start taking money out of general Mexican citizens' bank accounts when they send it back via Western Union. I mean, I understand Mexico is crapping all over us, but at the same time, I just don't like Big Brother stuff, period.
I agree. You know, Barack Obama just came out in a speech to the FEMA National Response Coordination Center in Washington, and he explained that it was up to each citizen to be prepared for disasters. This is not too long ago.
They didn't used to talk like that.
The preparation should extend to having an evacuation plan and having a fully stocked disaster supply kit.
And they never did that before. Now they're kind of putting billboards up and stuff, so they want to be able to tell us, hey, we warned you.
Yeah,
But they warn you like 2 seconds before they punch you. Watch out. Boom.
Yeah, boom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, I warned you. Look out.
but you know, the FBI and Homeland Security have seen prepping as a sign of incipient terrorism as a matter of policy. In fact, you can get investigated if the federal government notices signs of unusual prepping in your house.
Let's just let them investigate us all then. Nick, go ahead. Group your terrorist.
I'm equally concerned about Trump doing the Big Brother kind of things, but I think I'm almost more concerned about the after effects because in the memo he breaks down day by day what he believes Mexico will do, and I'm worried there could be riots from the illegals who can't send their money back. And
No, I hear you, but I mean, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Citizens are being treated like crap. Big corporations on both sides are using people. It's hurting everybody on both sides. We've got to do something. We can't just advertise the world. Forget Mexicans. They always get the main thing because that was the biggest population coming here. Chinese women now are the biggest number to get everything free. They advertise that we're idiots. And they go, well, you just don't like Asians. No, that has nothing to do with it. I'm not going to play race card on that. You know, it's absolute bull. I can't go to China and get stuff for free. I appreciate your call,
you
Nick.
give anybody anything for free, and it's going to cause a problem eventually.
That's right. I want to talk to Kevin in Colorado. Then we're going to go in order to Frank, Cindy, and Bitter. Bitter Klinger. Go ahead, Kevin. You're on the air worldwide.
Thanks for having me, Alex. I just want to thank you for, I know you don't like being thanked, but I just got to thank you because I'm only like 21 years old, and when I was at high school, I listened to your show and completely woke me up. So,
Well, God bless you, brother. I appreciate you.
thank you for that.
Hey, we're all in this
And
together. We're like bailing water out of a sinking ship. And you're like thanking me. And I'm like, let's just bail out of here.
Right.
This is actually kind of fun fighting tyrants. I mean, it's better than being a jellyfish.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you feel like you're actually making a difference every day.
Sure. Sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I mean, but like you're right though. You know, I had no idea what was going on. So you brought this whole another world on me. So you know, that's why I just got to thank you, and especially Dr. Group too, because I've tried the products. I'm a subscriber to Prison Planet, and I've tried X2, and I've tried Super Male Vitality, and all of it works great. And right now, actually, I'm doing the Living Defense. So I just want to thank you for making these products. And I just got to say to all the other listeners that getting this knowledge and information from both of these, Alex and Dr. Group, it's very important. It's a privilege to get this information. I mean, it's Dr. Group, especially you. You're so wise, and you teach us a lot every time you come on. So I really got to thank you for everything you do.
Well, God bless you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Kevin.
Limbaugh said at a certain point you got to say dittos, but listen. Other people being informed and involved makes a better society and a better future for my children. The globalists love dumb down people so they can feed on them. I don't want that. That builds a hell. And plus, it's just at a genetic or spiritual level. It just sounds like bad mojo. Sounds like bad luck. Even thinking about screwing somebody over really upsets me. And it's not because I'm a wimp. It's because I'm wired the way you're supposed to be wired. And so those of us, it's not a privilege, brother. Listen, we're in this together. You are just as important as we are. You're just as informed as we are. Start your own blog. Start your own website. Start your own YouTube channel. Get out there. People need you to warn them in your area as well. We're not the only Paul Revere's here. I love how Matt Drudge used to always tell people in the press and blogs, hey, so I learned he didn't just tell me this, he told so many other people this, you're just as important as the New York Times. Because so many people I know that the alternative media will break some huge thing and be kind of like, oh, here it is. No. I mean, we are the real media. We're the ones that aren't bought and paid for. We're the ones that just tell it like it is. Doesn't mean we're perfect. You keep us honest. I mean, I make mistakes. I say things sometimes that I later look back on weren't absolutely correct. But it's not done on purpose. It's a lot of times done through fatigue.
It's just about getting the truth out there and devoting and having that passion for change. I mean, for the Constitution, the original Constitution, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was the original writer of the Constitution, Pelatiah Webster. It's like I have a devotion. You have a devotion for spreading news. We both have the devotion for getting people better because we know the general plan. We know what's going on.
I hate seeing people get screwed over.
I do too. I believe in karma.
It's like Nigerian scams. I've now learned, I mean, I knew about it, but it's epidemic worse than Nigerian scams, is it's so-called Playboy gigolo guys who could be like 45, 50, and to 70-year-old women that are like widows, or they split families up, and they know how to program them and manipulate them to like trigger a midlife crisis in women. Mm-hmm. And so there's this epidemic of like guys ripping women off, and their families even go to them and go, it's a scam. They even find out that the guys are a scam because people expose them, and the women get taken. Because, oh, baby, I'm going to come see you, but I need $5,000. Oh, now it's $10,000. It's just like, I tell you, there are women that milk men as well, but it's almost genetically. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. But when I see a man milking a woman, it really gets me pissed. I mean, I'm just chivalrous. I can't help it.
I agree. I mean, or a child or somebody that's, anybody for that matter.
Yeah, Bill Clinton flying around with pedophiles on airplanes.
It's just sick. I mean, that's the whole purpose and the whole reason that we're trying to do what we're doing.
Women love, on average, Bill Clinton and Hillary. They love rapists. They love evil. They love being, because they buy into the glitz. It must all be good. The mainstream told you.
CNN said it was good. CNN said Hillary's up by 6 points just out of the blue yesterday. Mainstream media is saying all these things. I tell you, though, I talk to people.
But the New York Times, when Trump was in between marriages, he asked attractive women out. And they went out with him, and he was really nice to them. But he was real confident, and he had girlfriends, and it was just, he was real confident. He just, women, it's targeting women that don't think they're successful to be envious of his lifestyle.
I mean, you look.
Oh, my gosh, he didn't rape women like Bill? He said he treated them super glamorous and took care of them. And oh, my God, women, what a horrible man, Dr. Groove.
What a horrible man. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that one. It's just the main. That's why.
But the story is these modern women don't want to be told, just like the Nigerian scam, when you tell them this guy's a con artist, he ripped off 8 other women, here's his aliases, here he is, because the way you catch him is they do, I know this happened with my friends, they do an image search of the person. Because even though they change their alias, you can do an image search, people save the photos, and then sure enough, there's the con man. And even when it's there, they're like, you're mad, he loves me. Well, have you ever met him? No, but he's coming and he's rich and he just needs the money to get the money out of the account. He's gonna give me $1 million and we're gonna, and I'm gonna get free health care and everything's gonna be wonderful. We're gonna live in a utopia. Obama loves me. You're racist. You hate him. I mean, what do you, I just don't, it's like Kanye West admits he loves pimping his audience. He loves telling him he's broke and raising millions off of him and laughing at him. And he, you know, and it's like YouTube, it admits they love conning their audience and their audience loves it too. What is the deal with that, man?
What's the deal is...
It's leftists, though. They are the idiots.
I'll tell you one of the deals with it is that the communication has gone away from face-to-face communication and it's gone to texting and it's gone to email and it's gone to online. So people are developing relationships. And the fact of the matter is, Alex, people are depressed, they're unhappy, they're not happy with themselves.
And their husband or wife's telling them how the real world works. And, you know, it's real issues. But some fantasy guy texts, oh, we're going to give you free health care. We're going to give you free everything, you know.
It's like the 50 Shades of Grey when that came out and what it, you know, with the perfect billionaire guy that was so good.
Suddenly women wanted to be slapped around.
And, you know, it's just an altered reality, really. I mean, that's, you know, it's a sad thing that's happening all over the place. I mean, it's the best that we can do is just try to help as many people as we can. And
yeah, so they come out with a bondage movie, make it sexy and palatable, and then suddenly mainline shopping malls are selling bondage gear.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't tell you where all that stuff leads or where it goes. The little kids in cages, you know, it's all fun.
Right. And the sad thing about it is women were actually, you know, there were predators like what you're talking about, and women were actually meeting these guys because of the book, because they weren't getting, it was a fantasy and it was something exciting and something.
Well, no, I mean, and again, it's the left that's generally into that because they're not leftists. They're mentally ill scum. And they're 6 times more likely to rob, 6 times more likely not to give to charity. And I don't mean real liberals like yourself, you know, these fake-oid modern weirdos.
That's the world we live in right now. I mean, that's unfortunate, but there are good people out there. You know, there are good people out there, and there's more and more good people. Like the caller earlier, you know, exactly what you said. Everybody that gets, every time that someone gets a little more educated, every time somebody gets a little more healthy, or they have one of their symptoms go away, or they
drink purified water, or they learn to start exercising, all of it.
They start spreading the word.
This is what it is.
Starts getting out there.
The social engineers wouldn't let parents spank, wouldn't let them discipline, wouldn't let, you know, them make the kid walk home from school when they're 10. You know, the government takes them away. Now all these people have grown up, are like 25-year-old Arrested Development kids. They feel like they have no power, and they're taught, go do deviant things, cut your finger off, you know, be tortured. That's how you get power, is being deviant. No, that's not how you get power, being deviant. And let me just say, believe me, I know, okay? I'm not saying I've done a bunch of wild stuff, but I've done more than most, let me tell you. So, I mean, I grew up in Dallas. I was a wild child, you know, and I'm telling you, it's not fulfilling. It's not going to help you. And the type of folks, not so much bondage, I've never been involved in that, but the people into all that stuff are really empty, or they're predator psychopaths that really want to hurt you. And they may not kill you the 5th or 6th time you go over to their house, but they're watching you, they're keeping track, they're finding out if you have family, they're monitoring you, they're thinking about putting you in their freezer. So I'm just telling you, stay away from liberals. They will slit your throat. They tell you all day they want to help you. They tell you all day, I'm skipping this break. They tell you all day they love you. They tell you all day they're the ones that care. They're the ones that have the answers. Look at them. They don't have any answers. They don't produce anything. They're criminals claiming they're philanthropists. They're god-awful scum. They hate black people. Obama massively increasing basically forced abortion in Africa, where they make you have the abortions or whatever. Doubling black unemployment, not visiting black communities, doing nothing, cutting off a bunch of programs. But because they want you even more dependent. They've got you right, and they want everybody in that position. Dr. Grib, we're going to calls, but go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't have anything to add to that except for the fact that, you know, I think that we've lost the happiness factor. I mean, how many people do you know that are truly happy?
I am. I'm so happy I can't handle it.
Well, here's the
I am
deal,
crazed,
though.
Is it the normal thing for a male to be dynamic, crazed, energetic, full of ideas? They call this manic. They call this narcissistic. They call this overly optimistic. This is what built civilization.
It is what built civilization, and for a long time, that's the way it was. But then when you start introducing fluoride and you start introducing all these chemicals, you know, the reason I keep coming back to chemicals because I've done so many studies, and I'm obsessed with research.
The White House Science Czar wrote an 1,100-page book admitting they put chemicals and stuff to make us dumb.
Right. So it all comes back to, who are you? I mean, are we really like chemical zombies walking around everywhere? I mean, most people don't even know who they are. I would ask people and patients when they came in, what makes you happy? What do you do for fun? And they would just break down and start crying.
Yeah, it's like, who are you? What's your purpose in life? Where do you think we came from? This is what you should be thinking about all the time. This is what empowers you, is tying into the universe, transcending the fake earth and the globalist fake reality that is meant to keep you from knowing the greater reality.
So I'm like, you can change. You know, there's always hope. All you have to do is just put a little bit of time.
All you got to do is walk out and look at the stars at night and ask God to show himself to you.
It's just like the fear factor with sunlight. You know, sun is actually good for you. It's healing for you.
And this White House regulations wants to pass a law that it's hate speech, criminal neglect, to tell you that you need 15 minutes of sun a week. He says no sun. And they know that because without sun, you die. And your eyes need sun every day to activate the chemical processes in the brain. Fact.
Absolute fact. Absolute.
I mean, I can be down, something really bad happens, I just go out, lay out in the sun 20 minutes, boom.
It brings you.
It's a drug.
It is. It's like a drug. If I could take anybody and put them out in a nice area, relaxed setting.
That's why they call it forest bathing now.
Watch the sunrise or watch the sunset, and it immediately calms you down.
It energizes you because it's spiritual. It's a shared experience. We have consciousness and free will. The fact that we can recognize beauty, recognize wholesomeness is our connection to God and the Godhead. And that's why the CIA funded ugly art and degeneracy, was to make you think that was beautiful, to cut you off from God. It is the experience of beauty, the exercise of will and courage, in the defense of innocence, that is the first step towards your connection, and it is electrical. It's physical, not just spiritual, to the Creator.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we should be taught, our kids should be taught about this in school, you know, taught about their body, how to listen to their body. We've just been disconnected.
Anytime my family's fighting or having problems, that happen a lot of, if there's a sunset or sunrise going on, I go, come out here and look at this. Just look at this. It's all over. Boom.
Yep. Yep. It's amazing when you look at.
And the ancients all knew that. The ancients all knew that. You got up to see the sun.
You sun gazed.
Yes.
Sun gazed was almost a, you know, priority that you did. If you were sick, even if you weren't sick. As a matter of fact, there's been documentary films talking about sun gazing.
Yeah, just don't do it when it's, you got to do it when it's going through the atmosphere at the edge through all the dust, when it's bright red.
Right, like right at the bottom.
Got to be at the bottom, yeah.
Of the sunrise or sunset. Yeah, so it's
Me and Grip never talked about this. This is all just ancient knowledge that you don't even need a book, folks. It's genetic. Everyone knows it.
You know it deep down inside, but it's just that you're so.
And God gave us, we're not worshiping the sun. God gave us that. We grow out of that. So that is literally another symbol of God that God gave us, that's bigger, thousands of times bigger than the New World Order. It's there. It's all, it just dwarfs them. Ha ha. Just to say, look at, that's like the UN voted 6 years ago to say the sun doesn't affect climate. They literally, think of their arrogance. They passed a law saying you can't have it in equations because they hate it.
Yeah. Well, they take away everything that's helpful. I mean, generations and generations ago, we weren't confined in houses where there was no air circulation.
They're competing with it. They can't stand that beautiful yellow giant.
We have artificial lighting now. We have homes that have more toxic air inside the home than outside.
We're being put in an alien environment.
So it is. It's an artificial environment. It's an artificial culture, artificial food, artificial water, artificial air, artificial
milk,
artificial skin, you know, robotics, transhumanism, artificial DNA.
Half the births aren't vaginal. Most of the kids are drinking, garbage, fake milk. Let's talk to Frank in New York. You're on the air with Dr. Group. Go ahead.
I just want to say God bless you and your crew, Alex. You guys do a great job.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. Before I go with Dr. Group, I just want to say, Alex, I've been calling your show for about 3 years now. And every time I call your show, I forgot to plug in your products. I just want to say that your products are actually very, very, very good.
Thank you.
The Oxy powder is great. The nascent iodine is fantastic.
I mean, Group's a big deal. He's one of the top developers in the country. His stuff's used in Hollywood. I mean, I didn't just go out and get, I mean, he was already a listener and a guest and stuff, so I thought, well, I'm getting into nutraceuticals, I'll get the best guy. I mean, that's what I do, but thank you.
Also, on the prostate guard, I've been using it for a couple of months now. Let me tell you something. I'm 46 years old. I don't have any prostate problems, thank God. But I did use, I ain't using that product just for health, for your prostate for health purposes. Let me tell you something. This is a family show. Let me tell you something. It works.
Yeah, we don't make really any claims, okay? Just try the product. You're supporting the broadcast. It's got all the known herbs God gave us. And again, it doesn't just deal with that exactly. Again, it's advertised as the ultimate formula of known stuff that's good for your prostate, but it does a lot more.
Yeah, it does do a lot more.
I mean, if it's helping your prostate, folks, that isn't the only gland.
Yeah, exactly. A prostate in male is an endocrine gland. And believe it or not, usually, one of the things with the prostate is you really don't feel it until it's gotten to a point where it's, I'm not going to say too late, but usually if you're waking up in the middle of the night to go urinate, that's a sign that your prostate
is burning.
Inflamed, burning urination. So it is a serious issue that I think, any male over 45.
It's the #1 cancer in males, right?
Yeah, it is. And if you look at the way the prostate functions, it needs iodine. The prostate is heavily in iodine, just like the ovaries and the reproductive organs in male and
that's
female.
why X2 is 20% off right now.
Iodine is an important
20 to 40% off, as I say in closing for this hour, all of the storable foods at InfoWarsStore.com, and that helps fund the broadcast, but now's the time to get prepared. Thank you so much, Frank, for your kind words. Again, I hope the phone's up on other topics. They all called in about the products, so I love our listeners. We're going to go to break and back with Cindy, and then a few other phone callers like Bitter Klinger and Ryan, and then we're going to have, who is this, David Knight coming in with the latest on Loretta Lynch and so much more. Well, it's almost like I made it happen because the air conditioner's been having some problems. It was cool this morning, and I was sweating. I was so angry about the Lynch thing, and then now it's kind of hot in here, so I look like it's like an old Baptist church or something where they had air conditioning in here under these lights. Stay with us, folks. Coming to you from Texas. It's crazy. We are the front lines. I don't say that with a power trip. I say that with a lot of responsibility. And I just pray I can be up to the challenge. I know you do as well, Dr. Group. But they can't keep them in the dark for life. They can't hide them from the waiting world. No, they can't. You see, I'm not here to get you to believe like I believe. I'm just here to get you to get outside the globalist paradigm and see it all for yourself. One can't be told about the Matrix. One can only see it for themselves. And all I'm offering is the truth. Nothing more. Let's go to Bitter Klinger in Florida. And of course, that's who they know their enemy is, the Bitter Klingers. They've taken our jobs. They've bankrupted everything. Now they want our guns and our Christianity so we can learn to worship them. Go ahead. You're on the air, Bitter Klinger.
What's going to happen?
Not going to happen. Go ahead, Bitter Klinger.
I want to get your opinion on a person I recently discovered. He was a former radio announcer for NBC out of Chicago by the name of Wally Butterworth. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No, it doesn't.
Well, this is back in the early 60s. He was talking about then on the radio, the Federal Reserve, CFR, New World Order, John Birch Society.
Oh, there was a lot of great patriots back then. We stand on their shoulders. And boy, those people used to get poisoned, killed, harassed. I mean, when I got involved, it was the tail end of that, man, where they would have army units come harass you. I mean, it was like really bad when I was like, I mean, it'd be like just to intimidate you.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Same in the health field, too. A lot of the same type of information has been put out since the 1920s, 1930s. Those guys really took a beating. They were the ones that were killed.
Something happened, though, when Clinton left office. I got to give this to Bush. That paramilitary harassment and stuff just stopped. I mean, the Clintons really mess with you is what I'm saying.
That's true.
What is going to happen if she gets back in? Well, I tell you.
I don't know. I might think about moving. No, I don't know what I'm gonna do at that point in time. You know,
man, I just don't know. Yeah. Some people go, "Oh God, your show will get even bigger if things get worse." I'm like,
so do you think that there could be martial law and Obama stays in office?
Yeah, they won't call it that, though. I mean, civil emergency, I don't know. They're just I've never seen such gearing up. I hope the gearing up is just contractors looting. I'm not saying that's good, but I hope it's just some looting going on. I hope it's just the normal scams, but it's so much more serious.
It's just on so many levels right now.
They're just escalating stuff.
I mean, the borders are open. People just, I mean, it's just like escalation everywhere.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm just like hitting my knees every night.
I mean, after reading all of this stuff, and then looking back at like Rex 84, the Readiness Act of 1984, all this stuff has been planned.
And now you see it being implemented.
Now you see it all around. You're wondering, why is all this happening right before the election? Are we going to have martial law instituted, and Obama stays in office, and you have all.
We could be so productive. They're holding everything back. I appreciate your call, Better Clanger. Let's go to Ryan in Montana. Go ahead.
How are you guys doing today?
Good, brother. Go ahead.
Good. Hey, I had one question. For a person wanting to do an at-home detox or an at-home cleanse, what are some things that at home the majority of people would have, or what would you recommend for a person?
What, like just drink a ton of water, sweat a lot, go outside? I mean, what's the most basic detox?
Yeah, that's
steam rooms.
Yeah, exactly.
I put a steam room in my shower. It was like $600. Not even very expensive. That's really good for you.
Yeah, actually, you can even get ozone steam saunas for fairly inexpensive online. I would recommend reading about those. But the basic thing that you can do, your body's made of water. I mean, it's every living substance is at least 80% water. So just drinking water and not eating good organic foods is one of the best basic ways that you can detoxify yourself. You can do coffee enemas. You can do apple cider vinegar in water. You can do baking soda. There's different remedies out there.
Is charcoal good?
For that. Activated charcoal is amazing. Bentonite clays. Those are different types of detox methods.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is the X2, 20% off. But I mean, just because it just does everything. Yeah. And some people have that iodine deficiency. We're out of time. David Knight's coming up with all the latest news and analysis. Nightly News Tonight, 7 o'clock. And we'll be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central as well. Have a great 4th coming up.
These were the chaotic scenes as residents of a city in southeastern Venezuela went on the rampage in search of basic food items. People desperate for staples like milk, rice and flour stormed a supermarket warehouse in Guayana City.
If you go back to 2007, the British Ministry of Defense came out and echoed a Department of Defense report from here in the U.S. saying that beginning in the year 2016, right through 2020 to 2030, that they believe there would be massive multi-100% food price increases worldwide. And that during that global meltdown, that there would be incredible social unrest that would depopulate much of the earth. Now, in 2016, Vice magazine and other publications are reporting on a 2015 report produced by the U.S. government, the UN, and scores of foreign nations, as well as the State Department, overseen by food giant Cargill, the World Bank, and most importantly, the World Wildlife Fund. The World Wildlife Fund is a eugenics, anti-human organization set up by Prince Bernhard, who also founded the Bilderberg Group and who was a Nazi officer. This organization sells environmentalism to make the elite look like heroes saving the earth, when in truth, they are ushering in a planetary tyranny that is irrevocably damaging the fabric of our planet. In this new FEMA report, with headline, FEMA contractor predicts social unrest caused by 395% food price spikes, you learn that this is a report filed with governments and major institutions overseen by a contractor that since the 1940s has been the main advisor for the U.S. Navy Marine Corps.
The challenges and crises that we were assigned are exactly what we expect to see in the future. So you've got famine, you've got increased pests.
Food prices are going up 400%. We've got a flood of migrants coming in. The world is starting to fall apart.
Everything we do is going to have some negative effect.
Now, all of this said, governments and corporations and institutions are stockpiling food and weapons. They're digging in, they're getting bunkers. Elites are fleeing to places like New Zealand en masse. We've gone from financial meltdown and huge regional wars being a possibility to being a probability to more and more becoming an inevitability. Now, the big question is, what are we going to do about it? The advice I give you is the same advice that I carry out in my own personal life. Number one, everybody needs to be able to protect themselves. Everybody needs friends and family they can rely on in crises. And everyone needs high-quality storable foods and high-quality water filtration systems. Not just for collapse when it comes to water filters. All the garbage in our water, you'd be insane to drink well water or tap water with the glyphosates and all the rest of it. But we're offering the biggest wide spectrum sale ever on preparedness items. 20, that's the lowest savings, to 40% at InfoWarsStore.com. On InfoWars Select, high quality storable foods, the highest quality, the lowest prices, powered by My Patriot Supply. We also sell their food as well, their full spectrum. And all of their water filtration systems across the board, from gravity-fed systems like Alexa Pure and ProPure, to shower filters, to survival straws, you name it, it's all 20 to 40% off right through July 4th at InfoWarsStore.com. I know I personally am getting prepared. The warning signs are insane. Take advantage, 20 to 40% off until early next week with the 4th of July holiday special at InfoWarsStore.com.